Today we are going to look at the poem Birches, which is written by Robert Frost, and it is there in class 12 ISC. And this poem is actually a reminiscence. That means when an adult is trying to remember his boyhood, that how he used to swing on birches. Birches is a tree on whose branches the boy used to swing very freely. So he envies his childhood, his boyhood, that how he used to swing on those birches. And it is actually swinging on a tree means it is actually the escaping of harsh reality of adulthood and giving an interval from all the harsh realities of adulthood. But the full experience grows out of a balancing of opposed forces, ideal and real. So let's look at this poem. This poem has been included this year in 2021-22, though it was removed from the course of 2020-21. So let's look at first 4 lines. When I see birches bent to left and right, across the lines of straighter, darker trees, I like to think some boy's been swinging them, but swinging doesn't bend them down to stay, as ice storms do. So here the poet is saying that whenever I see a birch tree, and I see that its branches are bending left to right, as compared to rest of the trees which are straight, and in between them, a birch tree has its branches bent towards left and right. It seemed to him as if a boy had been swinging on those branches and had made them bend. Okay, so he says, but it doesn't mean that if a boy swings on a branch of a birch, it can cause it too much to bend as compared to an ice storm. Because when you can say loads of ice are sitting on a branch of a birch, then only their branches can bend. Often you must have seen them loaded with ice a sunny winter morning after a rain. They click upon themselves as the breeze rises and turn many-colored as the stir cracks and crazes their enamel. So he says that you people must have seen that after a heavy rain in those hilly areas, some ice layers must have been, loads of ice must have been collected on the branch of a birch tree, and whenever a breeze flows, these ices crack within themselves. They try to break because of the strong winds that blow, and turn many-colored as the stir cracks and crazes their enamel. And then they, you can say, break into so many pieces as if a rainbow-colored piece of glass has been broken down and it has been scattered all around. Soon the sun's warmth makes them shed crystal shells, shattering and avalanching on the snow crust such heaps of broken glass to sweep away. So whenever the sun becomes more and more warmer, these pieces of glass, of that ice, they you can say they move away from the branches and they fall into the ground, as if somebody, whenever he passes by, could make out that maybe a glass has been broken down and its pieces are scattered here and there and it has to be swept away. You'd think the inner dome of heaven had fallen. They are dragged to the withered bracken by the load, and they seem not to break, though once they are bowed so low for long, they never right themselves. Now here the poet says that it seemed as if the branches of the birch tree has been bowed down so low as to touch the shrubs and herbs or ferns on the ground, and they never try to straighten themselves. You may see their trunk arching in the woods year afterwards, trailing their leaves on the ground. like girls on hands and knees that throw their hair before them over their heads to dry in the sun. But I was going to say, when truth broke in, with all her matter of fact about the ice storm. Now he says that you may see that their trunks arcing in the wood. You may see that the entire trunk of the tree is arcing in the form of an angle, but it seems as if it is going to break, but it doesn't break, it only bends. Years afterwards, trailing their leaves on the ground, and you may see that they remain in this state for a longer period of time. Or anybody who passes by would come to know or would make out that maybe the tree is going to fall or it is going to break, the branches are going to break, but it doesn't do so, because the tree at that time bends very low. And here he says that it seems as if the girls on hands and knees are through. Like sometimes the girls, when they wash their hair, it seems as if the girls have thrown the hair in front of them, all the hairs in this format, in order to dry their hair in the sun. So looking at the condition of the tree, it seems as if a girl is sitting on her hands and knees before the sun in order to let her hair dry. But I was going to say, when truth broke in, with all her matter of fact about the ice storm, I should prefer to have some boy bend them, as he went out and in to fetch the cows. Some boy too far from town to learn baseball. So he says, but I'm not taking all of these things into consideration, like a girl is trying to dry her hair. I will take it as a reality, as if a boy had been swinging on the branches of this tree for a long time, and because of which only the branches have bent. This boy must have been grazing the cows, and in order to fetch the cows, he must have come too far into this forest and seen this tree, whose only play was what he found himself, summer or winter, could play alone. And this boy didn't have any friends to play baseball or anything like that with any of his friends. So he was a lonely boy who could play with himself only. And so he found a birch tree on which he could have risen or swung on it, due to which the branches of the birch have bent. One by one, he subdued his father's trees by writing them down over and over again, until he took the stiffness out of them. It seems as if the boy has been jumping from one branch to another, another branch, third branch and fourth branch, and all of the branches of the birch tree. And due to his jumping act and moving on the branches, all of the branches of the birch tree have bent, and all the stiffness has gone away. And not one but hung limb, not one was left for him to conquer. It seemed as if none of the branches was left by the boy to jump upon or to conquer upon, due to which all the branches seemed to be limping or bending towards the ground. He learned all there was to learn about not launching out too soon, and so not carrying the tree away clear to the ground. Later on, this boy had learned how to softly jump on the branches of the tree so that they do not bend too much, and he just knows how to jump very quickly from one branch to another. He always kept his poise to the top branches, climbing carefully with same pains you used to fill a cup up to the brim, and even above the brim. Then he flung outward feet first with a swish. He had become so expert, that boy had become so expert, that he knew how to jump very quickly from one branch to another, to another, to another, making the aim to reach to the topmost branch of the tree. And it seemed as if we are filling a cup of tea from a kettle up to the brim, and then above the brim also the cup is overflowing. Similarly, the boy is enjoying moving from one branch to another in a very swift and aptful way. a skillful way, kicking his way down through the air to the ground. And so I was once myself a swinger of birches. And finally, when the boy had moved through all the branches of the tree, he in the air had jumped and came to the ground very quickly. So this poet is reminded that he too was a swinger of the birches. He also used to swing on the birches in this very way. And so I dream of going back to be. And so now he envies that why he isn't doing such acts at this adult stage. He longs to go back to his childhood and do the same thing again. It's when I'm wary of considerations and life is too much like a pathless wood where your face burns and tickles with cobwebs broken across it and one eye is weeping. He says that the life of adult is very very difficult. It is full of troubles all around. There is no particular you can say smooth way to pass through. Every turn of a life of the adult life is full of struggles where it seems as if your face is burning through those struggles and even the cobwebs are pinching on your face when they are broken apart. And one eye is weeping, and due to that, when you have passed through the cobweb, one eye is weeping because it has been hurt by that cobweb. From a twigs having lashed across it open, I'd like to get away from the earth. While the cobweb was broken, immediately your eye had struck with one of the twigs in the open air, due to which your eye got hurt and you started weeping. I'd like to get away from earth a while and then come back to it and begin over. He says that I want an interval for a few days or for some time. I don't want a complete break, but a break from this adult life to go back to the top of the birches, reach to the heaven, have a break, and come back and then start over again with my adult life. May no fate willfully misunderstand me and half grant what I wish and snatch me away not to return. So he wishes or he prays that may not my fate take me away from here permanently. I just want a break of some time so that my mind gets refreshed and I come back and start over again. So he says that nature must not misunderstand me and take me away permanently from the earth. Earth's the right place for love. I don't know where it's likely to go better. I'd like to go by climbing a birch tree. So he says that earth is the right place where you can live with people with love. And he says that I don't know in which direction to go so that my life becomes more better. But he says that I would like to definitely climb a birch tree and climb back branches up a snow white trunk towards heaven till the tree could bear no more. So he says that I want to climb all the branches of the tree till I reach the top of the tree and try to move towards the heaven. And I would like to stand on those branches till the tree bears me no more. And the tree immediately starts shaking. But dip stop and set me down again. The tree starts shaking and the top of the tree would shake down and he would come down again. So till that time he would like to stand on the top of the tree and move towards the heaven or see the heaven. That would be good, both going and coming back. One could do worse than be a swinger of birches. So he says that it would be a good experience for me to go back and then come back again. And apart from this, any other way that any human being would choose would be wrong as compared to going to the topmost branches of the birches, experiencing the calmness of nature and then coming back. So this means that he is longing for his childhood as he has been suffering in his adulthood, and he sees that to be an adult is not an easy task because every adult has to go through various phases, various difficulties of life. So he wants a break of some time go to the topmost branches of the birch, look into the heaven, feel the calmness, and then come back and restart his life over again. So this was a poem that was written by Robert Frost, and the theme of the poem is imagination versus real world. So here the poetic imagination has been used because he is imagining at every point of the poem. First of all, when he sees the bent branches of the birch, so he imagines that only loads of snow when sitting on the branches of the birch could make it bend. Although the branches seem to break, but they do not break. They bend there continuously for a long time. So here he rejects the real reason for birches to have been bent. He offers a fanciful explanation on his own. So he says that after imagining that he has given one more imagination that maybe a girl must be drying her hair. It seems as if a girl is sitting on her hands and knees and trying to dry her hair in the sun. So after imagination, he tries that, or he longs that he wants a break from this real world and go back to the birches, climb to the topmost branches, take a break, and then come back and restart again in his adult stage. So here various imaginations we have seen in the poem, that first of all he thinks about the eyes, then he thinks about the girls drying their hair, then he thinks about a boy who must have, you can say, climbed on the branches of the birch. Due to his weight only, the branches of the birch must have bent down. Then comes the need for limits, the second theme. Here it deals with the theme of limits imposed by real world as a consequence of being in the world and existing as a person. The borders of the world define a person and place him or her in the real world. A tree reaches great heights but remains grounded in the earth through its roots. The removal of limits would leave one's personality groundless, with no way to define oneself. So he says that every human being must have his own limits. Similarly, like in a birch, there are no limits. Anybody can climb, and the branches they bend away and it reaches to the base of the ground. So he says that everybody who forgets his limits will become groundless. So in birches, one finds people of forces imposing limits. Both the boy and Ice Storm bend the birches. Gravity pulls the narrator back down to earth as he climbs towards heaven. So without limits, there can be no love or any other human emotion. Then in nature. Nature, may you have seen how the poem has described beautifully the various imagination made by the author. Because first of all he imagines about a boy climbing a tree, then he imagines girls drying their hair, he imagines snow loads kept on the branches of the birch due to which it bends. Right? So it is a narrative poem in which the poet is trying to narrate various imaginations according to himself, that why the birch has bent its branches. Then we have one more figures of speech, and that is onomatopoeia. It is a figure of speech in which sounds of the words convey the same. Like here there is a sentence, they click upon themselves. We immediately get a clicking sound, how the eyes would have cracked in between and giving a clicking sound. Then simile is also there, like girls on hands and knees that throw their hair. So it seems as if the birch is being compared to a girl sitting on her hands and knees and trying to dry her hair in the sun. Then we have a figure of speech as contrast, in which there is a line like straighter, darker trees, in which birches have been described standing between straight, darker trees. Summer or winter could play alone. Right? Then black branches up a snow white trunk. So some opposite words have been used in the sentences. Then repetition has been used where frost has repeated words like birches bend, boys swinging, swinger of birches. And then personification is there, trailing their leaves on the ground. It imagines to describe a tree that it is bending its leaves to the ground. Then we have got symbolism. The white birches are first seen against the background of straighter, darker trees. Later in the poem, the speaker wishes to climb back black branches up a snow white trunk towards heaven. Then swinging is symbolic of wavering between reality and imagination. So here various symbols have been given. Swinging is a stage between reality and imagination. Pathless wood is symbolic of the life's journey where you find no direction where to go. Then that would be good, both going and coming back is symbolic of the poet's desire to take a break from this adult life and then come back and restart again his adult life. Right? So this way we have completed this poem. Hope you people have understood this, and if you have understood, you can press the like button and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.